hits me the most.
Are you a pedophile?
No.
Are you sexually attracted to young boys, to underage boys?
Am I sexually attracted to
Yes.
underage boys? Sexually attracted? No, I enjoy young people. I love to be around them. But no, I'm not sexually attracted to young boys.
The trial of convicted child molester and former Penn State football coach Jerry Sandusky may never have happened if not for this brave young man. Aaron Fisher was the first to accuse Sandusky of being a monster, a key witness at trial. And now he wants everyone to know how hard it was to bring Sandusky down.
A victim means people feel sympathy for you. I don't want that. I would rather be somebody that did something good.
Aaron is 18, but was just 11 when he first met Sandusky, after he was invited to a summer camp for the coach's charity, the Second Mile. Sandusky soon targeted him, showering the boy with special attention, pulling Aaron out of school during the day, sleepovers at his home on weekends. It was there in his basement that Sandusky victimized Aaron.
But you weren't able to say,
No,
this guy is a monster, he's sexually assaulting me.
I couldn't do it.
Why?
Embarrassment, fear of not being believed.
That fear kept Aaron silent for years. But eventually, he would gather the strength to stand up to the powerful football coach, telling his principal what was happening during a meeting at school. And that is when his mother says Aaron was betrayed again.
They tell me to go home and think about it.
Go home and think about what?
That's what I said. Go home and think about what? What is there to think about? We need to call the police right now. Jerry was in the school.
We found Principal Karen Probst, who is still working at Aaron's old school.
Why are you moving so fast now when you moved so slowly when Aaron needed your help? I don't understand this. Why would you avoid these questions?
And welcome to Enough with the BS podcast. My name is Tyler Butler. This here to the right, of course, is my right-hand man, Josh Smith.
Yes, sir.
Josh, it's been 2 weeks, man. Any good or bad news to share with the people?
Nah, the Panthers suck. The Lakers are who we thought they were, and that's about it.
Yeah. We're going to try to bring some type of light to this situation, because this is going to be a very, very, very heavy, deep podcast today. As you guys know, from time to time, me and Josh kind of, like to dig a little deep into sports and bring you a story that maybe you've never heard before. We brought you the Ali. Mm-hmm. We brought you the very controversial Be Like Martin or Be Like Mike, which was probably our best show, the most views. We done brought you shows about suicide, also, issues with brain trauma in the NFL.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little different. Jay, I hope you had a good week with your kids. Hope you, the listener, as well, had a good one with your kids. As you listen to the intro, this show will be, as I mentioned before, a little different. It's a very serious topic. Today's show, we will be discussing child molesters in sports. We're going to focus on two high-profile cases involving two different coaches on two different levels of sports. Before we even dwell into it, Jay, what's your thoughts about, some of these coaches going around molesting little kids, man?
I mean, the Sandusky thing is, the main thing we're going to focus on today. And when I first heard the story, I'm kind of in shock. Like, all these people knew about it and just refused to do anything at all.
Nothing. That's what, kind of shocked me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you got all these, and he's working at these different schools and after-school programs and things. He's got children all around him pretty much most of the time, and he's got his pick of the litter, and no one does anything.
Yeah,
that was the thing that most, got to me.
It's disheartening, man, especially as a parent. Me and you both are proud parents of two girls.
Of course.
It's a hit you hard, and I feel like, you, the listener, after we break down the story, it's probably going to hit you a little hard. It's going to make you grab at your children, your sons, your daughters, maybe your neighbor's children, could be teammates of your children. This show is going to make you think a little different. I guarantee it. I've been working on it for weeks. I've been thinking about it ever since I started this podcast. Jerry Sandusky is something I've been fascinated in because I feel like the story is not being told. But I just couldn't think of a right time to, push the show, Josh.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, freaking Penn State.
Top 10
team and almost make the playoffs.
Rose Bowl.
And everybody's back on the Penn State.
Everybody's happy.
Happy Valley.
Yeah.
Rolling there. But I named this show God versus Penn State.
Okay.
So I feel like that's the battle, man. What went on at the University of Penn State, couldn't nobody stop but God in my eyes. Because couldn't no man stop it. It was rolling.
Numerous people could have stopped it. They just chose not to because they put Penn State, the school, above children.
Pretty much. So before we get into it, I want to play a soundbite from a good friend of mine. Her name is Nicole Wardell. She's actually a child counselor. She's been doing it for a while. She's a licensed counselor. And I wanted her to let you, the listener, know what type of effect child molestation can have on a child. And also she's going to give you a couple of telephone numbers where if you are maybe a victim of this and need to reach out and save yourself, she's going to provide those telephone numbers for you. So let's go ahead and dig into it. This is Nicole Wardell, licensed counselor. Give us a second.
My name is Nicole Wardell, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. I've been in the field since 2006, and I've been licensed since 2011. In every position I've held in my counseling career, I will say that majority of my clients have experienced some form of trauma. Tyler asked me specifically to speak about the impact of sexual abuse on children. In my counseling experience, working with children, trauma is very devastating. Children who are victimized and coerced into a sexual behavior that they know is wrong are left feeling confused, scared, lonely, ashamed, and or angry. They're angry at the abuser for continuing this act. They're angry at their caregiver for not protecting them, and or they're angry at themselves for not doing anything to stop it. It's extremely difficult for children to come forth and tell on their abuser, especially if that person is someone that they trust. Usually the perpetrator has threatened them or has told them that their families will be hurt if they tell. And this unfortunately creates an emotional conflict for the child. The perpetrator uses their authority and power to continue to control the child into inappropriate sexual behaviors, leaving the child feeling helpless and powerless. And these feelings are internalized, and the child may develop some changes in mood and or behavior. They may begin to act out behaviorally or sexually, have trust issues, not do well in school, have nightmares, or may even demonstrate a regression in behavior such as sucking thumbs or wetting the bed. But once a child gets the courage to come forth and tell, there has likely been an extreme amount of emotional damage. Sexual abuse can go on for years and the child may never tell, but as a result, they have developed unhealthy views on themselves. They may have boundary issues, unhealthy relationships, low self-esteem, no sense of self-identity, which can ultimately lead to bigger issues. Substance use, prostitution, abusive relationships, depression, suicidal ideation or attempts, and even worse, becoming a perpetrator themselves. That's why it's so important as parents, adults, teachers, counselors, and anyone else working closely with children to know the facts, to know the signs, and create a trusting, healthy relationship with children. In my profession, I'm trained to identify behaviors and or emotional problems that may be characteristic of a trauma victim. However, if you know of someone who's being abused, you need to report it to law enforcement immediately. In the upstate area, the Julie Valentine Center is my referral source to victims of abuse. This agency provides trained individuals specifically to help with victims of sexual abuse. For more information about that agency, please visit www.julievalentincenter.org. They have a 24-hour hotline as well, and that number is 864-467-3633. If you're not in the upstate of South Carolina area, there is a national hotline available as well. And their website is www.rainn.org. And you can also reach their 24-hour hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-4673.
Thank you very much, Nicole, for that soundbite. That was highly appreciated. So you heard it there from her. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need some help, definitely reach out to that information that she just provided. But we're going to go ahead and kick things off with a quote from a parent doing a child molestation case. This case, Josh, was from a former Little League coach by the name of Norman Watson.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, me either until I did a research. It was on Sports Illustrated, did a documentary on him. And this was like one of the first major cases with child molestation in sports.
Okay.
And so the parent stated this, and she told him this when she was on the stand, quote unquote, "You're worse than a thief. You're worse than a murderer. A thief steals what can be replaced. A murderer kills his victim one time. What you have done to these children is going to last for the rest of their lives, and unfortunately, history says that a fair portion of your victims are going to start victimizing others as you have done. I hope you rest in hell." Jay, man.
Damn.
Yeah, as a parent, hearing something like that, like, what comes to your mind?
Like, of course, your kids, like you said, it makes you want to clutch your children, man. Like, you wouldn't think there's that many people out here that are like that, or you would encounter that. And it's kind of hard, to pick up on the signs from the kids themselves. So you got to be active in your kid's life and notice, some differences or things like that, which I think Nicole had stated there. So it just makes you think long and hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Got cell phone static. Sorry about that. But that was from the trial of Norman Watson that took place in 1998. And he was a Little League coach who pled guilty to 39 sex-related charges.
Wow.
39, man. And Jay, he was only caught because parents acted on a rumor.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like you don't know if it's, if you hear something, if you know a person, and there's like, yeah, he's doing this or that, would you actually believe it, If you were a friend of Norman, I've never heard of Norman, but if you were Norman's best friend and there's rumors going around about Norman, would you be like, hey, Norman, you out here raping kids? Or would you just be like, nah, I don't believe it,
And that's the thing, like, man, and that's a very good point. If you look at someone and you think you know them, how would you react to hearing news? I mean, as a parent, though, you have to take it seriously.
Of course,
If there's any type of rumor floating around that you may have a child molester in the vicinity of your children, you have to act upon it.
You're right about that.
It's tough, man. When you think you actually know someone, and I'm going to get into an example a little later, but sometimes when you hear news that devastating, it's hard to sink in. Like, if I was to hear, one of my close friends that was a registered sex offender, it'll make you pause and like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
That guy? You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's what I think some of the Sandusky stuff comes from. It's like, they hear it, or, they hear rumors about it, but they're like, nah, not Jerry. But then these people are seeing it with their own two eyes, though. That's a whole nother story.
Jerry. Wait till we get into that, guys.
So.
But, they discovered he was a registered sex offender. He had spent time in a mental institution on a 1980 molestation conviction. Also,